So welcome to the Retroidpocketflip2 BOOMER'S guide. Basically, this is a guide for people who are not familiar with the technology, who have never had an Android-based emulator before, or maybe you don't even know what an emulator is. So when you first open the device, you're going to see a screen like this. To power on the device, you're just going to hit the power button, which is right here. You're going to hold it down to turn on the device. Now if you touch it or tap it, the device will go to sleep. If you tap it again, the device will wake up. To power off the device, you hold the button down and then click the button that says power off. Or restart by clicking the button that says restart. Now this is a touch screen device, so you can treat this screen as if it's almost like a cell phone, like an Android cell phone. So you can click next by hitting the button R1, or just click the next button like that. So it also works to click R1, see? Here you would connect to the internet, choosing your language, all of that, just basic setup stuff like you're setting up a new phone. Once you're connected to your Wi-Fi network, press R1, then you'd select your time zone. I'll show you. Let's see, what time zone do we want to be in? Los Angeles. And press back, and then press R1. Make sure you click off on Enable Google Play Services. This is important because Google Play Store, you can download emulators there. It's an app. So here we have all the pre-installed apps. These are very important to check off. You want to make sure you have these things. It's better to have them than to not have them, because if you do have them and don't want them, you can just delete them later on. So check them all off, or if you know exactly what you want to do, for example, if you just want to play Gamecube, then just check off Dolphin Emulator and leave the rest unchecked. That's all you want to do. If you're confused, like what emulator, plays what console, just look on the subreddit wiki and go to the emulation section or emulator section, and all of the different emulators and what systems they operate are listed there. Flycast, for example, is Dreamcast, and PPSSPP is PSP. RetroArch covers all of the retro consoles all the way back to like SNES, NES, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, PlayStation 1, Dreamcast, and Nintendo 64. Anything older than Dreamcast, really, RetroArch will have it built in, so that's a good one to check off. Once you've got your emulators that you want, I don't want these, I just accidentally checked those off. Let's see. This is Aether SX2, this is the PS2 emulator. RetroArch 30. Yeah, I don't really want any of these ones. Yeah, but just make sure you have RetroArch and any other emulators that you want, that you know. You can always download more, so it's not an issue. You press R1 to go to the next page, and here it'll install your emulators. Now here you select your launcher. So the Retroid launcher or the AOSP launcher. Now I like the Retroid launcher. Doesn't look like the touchscreen's working. I like the Retroid launcher, but I'll show you the AOSP launcher, and then I'll show you how to switch back to the Retroidpocketflip2 launcher if you want to. The AOSP is more colorful and simplistic, but the Retroidpocketflip2 launcher is more like a desktop with desktop shortcuts and kind of like a computer, which is very familiar and easy to use for boomers. But we'll show you the AOSP just for kicks. So now it says press start, so you press this. So this is the AOSP launcher. It's basically a colorful, simplistic one. You just click on your system, press A or up at the touchscreen, and it will show you your games. Yeah, not too complex, but it doesn't really remind me of a computer. It's not very intuitive for me for some reason. So I would go down to settings, and then where it says B for apps, you're gonna click on B if you want to switch out your launcher. And go down to settings, press A, and then you would just scroll down to apps, and then you'd go down to default apps, home app, and change it to quick step. So quick step, this is the one that I like. It's like a desktop or like an Android phone almost. It just has all your shortcuts here, and you can click on each one. For example, Dolphin Emulator, click there, and there you go, all your games. So I'm going to show you how to use these emulators and how to get your games going through the emulators in a second, but before I do that, I'm going to switch to screen record because I'm tired of holding my phone and viewing this device like this, and you're going to get a way better view of the screen that way. So to enter screen record, just in case you didn't know, you drag this down, then you drag it down again, then you press screen record start, and you press record audio, and I'm going to do device audio, but I'm also going to do microphone so you can hear my voice. Oops. There, and then we'll press start. The green indicates that it's now recording my voice through this microphone hole right here. So I'll meet you inside the device. One other thing before we go into this inside the device, we're going to talk about the SD card. So in this slot right here, you have an SD card. I have an SD card. It doesn't come with one, but you can buy one and then pop this open like so, and then just slide your SD card in there with the color side facing down. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a 256 gigabyte SanDisk Extreme. That's the most high quality one, so that your performance will be best. Basically all the SD card does is allows extra memory space, you know, extra storage for more games. So if you want a lot of games, get a bigger SD card. If you just want to play one game, like if you just want to play one Gamecube game, all you would need is the internal storage. That's enough. It already has, I think, 128 gigabytes of internal storage. So, but if you do want to play a lot of games and bigger games and more advanced games, then get an SD card and get a big one, or get a few big ones. Okay, so now that we're in the device on screen record, you can always pull this top down, pull it down again, and then you see on the bottom right corner, screen record stop. You just tap that to stop screen recording. Here's some important settings. This is the brightness. So if you dial it down, the brightness goes down. Dial it up, the brightness goes up. Let's keep it halfway. And then here we have some other settings that we can scroll through left and right. These are available at any time just by dropping down the top. Performance. I like to keep it on high performance when we're doing more high performance games, such as PC games, Xbox 360, PS3. Performance, this is for PS2 and Gamecube, and then standard, this is for anything older than that. And then the fan, you can change from off, quiet, high performance, it'll naturally go to sport. Keep the fan on sport when you're playing more intense games because it'll help cool down the device and increase performance, increase frame rates, all that stuff. So it's always good to keep the device cool, don't let it get too hot. If you feel the center is getting too hot, right underneath the power button, there's a little place there where the GPU is. It gets very hot. If it's getting too hot, turn on the fan to sport mode. So these apps are important to download. You can download them from the Play Store, which is right here, or from Firefox. I'd recommend first searching up Firefox on the Play Store and then downloading it. This is a good browser. And then once you're in Firefox, search up uBlock Origin and then download that. That'll make sure that when you download games off the internet onto the device directly, that you won't get spammed with advertisements and or get viruses or stuff like that. So that's your default browser, Firefox. That's the best one. Stick with that one. So when it comes to the SD card that we talked about earlier, we just click on Files, see that? And then we click on these three lines in the top left corner, and then we'd see different options when we scroll up and down. Retroidpocketflip2, that's the internal storage, the 128 gigabytes. Try to not store stuff on this. Try to store stuff on your storage. So you go to storage, and then you'd have different folders that you can make where you'd keep your games. So you'd keep a folder called games, you'd keep your games there, right? And then you can connect the device to your computer using the USB-C port, and you will see this show up. It'll say Retroidpocketflip2. This thing will show up on your desktop computer. And then you can also see these. You can see all the same files and navigate them all in the same way just on your computer and drag your ISO files, which are your game files, into the correct folders that you made. So the device comes with this cord from the factory. It's a USB-C cable. And this is how you connect it to the computer. It's a USB port. So like any other USB, you just hook it up to your laptop or PC. And then you plug the other end into this port right here. This is the same port you use for the TV when you plug in an HDMI. And when you do this, a little window will come up that says use USB 4, and you go to file transfer, and then you press A. Now, on your computer, Retroidpocketflip2 will show up. It'll show up right here. So here, as we said before, you can click internal storage, and you'll see the same download folder with the same stuff. And then if you go to storage, which is the SD card, you can create a folder called ROMs or games. And then inside the folder, keep your separate games for different systems. And that's where you drag your ISOs or RBZs or game files. So for PlayStation 2, after you burn your ISOs from your PlayStation 2 discs off your disk drive, you drag them to this folder. And they will take a while to transfer if they're many gigabytes. Bigger games will take longer, like Jack 3 for example. That's a big game, 4 gigabytes. And games that are larger generally take longer. So if you copy and paste a whole bunch of them at once, they will take maybe 10 minutes or whatever. And then once it's finished, you're simply just gonna eject your Retroid. I think it's called the MTP for some reason. So eject MTP. And once you see it's safe to remove hardware, unplug it. And then your games will show up here. So we're gonna dive back into the screen now. When you download stuff off of Firefox, it'll go in the downloads folder right here. You can also navigate to the downloads folder by pressing Retroidpocketflip2 and then going down to download. And you'll see all the stuff you download here. So for example, let's download something real quick. Just as another fun app, you can get Reddit. And on Reddit, you can navigate to the Retroidpocketflip2 subreddit and go to the sidebar, and you'll have direct download links for all of the if you go to the home page, you'll see all the main posts. And if you want the download links, press see more, then scroll down, you'll get all the download links. So for example, if I wanted to emulate 3DS and I wanted Azahar emulator, I would click on Azahar. Then here, I would always find the Android link, and it's going to be an APK file, .apk, and then press download. Now this would be download complete. Okay, cool. So download complete.
we go into files, we're in our downloads, right? So press on downloads and then scroll down until you see Azahar right here. Click it, install, app installed. Cool. So now, as you can see, Azahar is right here. It's already installed. So you click this, and then in the app, you can set up your settings. It'll just go through normal settings, data folders. So here you'd select a folder and where your games are, right? So wherever your games are, I don't know where yours would be, but make a folder called games, and then Azahar will select that folder, and your games will show up. So this is how you download apps, easy, and then that's how you use apps. So for example, I don't have any 3DS games, so I can't show you that on Azahar, but on Dolphin Emulator, if I open it up, I can show you my Gamecube games. This is the case, and because I pressed add games, this button here, and then I have a folder that then we press use this folder, allow. So those are the folder all my games are stored. That's how you basically run games. And then when you're here, you just click on a game, open it up, and it runs, simple as that. So Starfox Adventures, I clicked on it, and then the game should just load up. There you go. And then if you press the home button, you get a menu like this. Where you can press quick load, quick save, all that kind of stuff, and you're in your game. If the controls are not mapping out properly, you're gonna exit emulation, and then you're gonna go to settings, Gamecube input, yeah, there you go. Gamecube input, control, standard controller. You select the settings button again, and then we have different types of Retroid Pocket Controller, I think is the one. So you click that. Default. And then you can map out the individual buttons by pressing this one and then pressing A, for example. Boom. Now it's mapped as A, but it's already mapped. You can map them all if you want or change the mapping. And then you go back into your game. Let's do another quick load so you can skip the menus here. So now the controls are working, see? So this is the same thing for every emulator basically. It's very similar. I'll just show you on one. Same thing for PlayStation 2. Here are my PlayStation 2 games. If you open up one of them, it's basically the so here we go, quick load. Quick load is basically like loading into a save state. So as you can see, the handheld controls are working fine. The game is running smooth. And then to exit emulation, you just swipe the left part of the screen like that to the right, and then press exit game. Then you can press B and it'll go back to the screen. This is basically your main operating center. You operate to all the different apps this way. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, you're gonna want to download a RAR. If you're downloading stuff off of Firefox, like different games, they're gonna come in a zipped up format. And then the zipped up format will land in your downloads folder. And then you'll go to device storage. And you'll go to download, and you'll see, you know, different zip files. So if you find a file such as Castlevania Lords of Shadow RAR, .rar or .zip or something like that, you're gonna want to check it, and then you're gonna press this button on the top right corner. It looks like a stack of books with an arrow pointing up. You click that, and then you press browse, and then you'd go to wherever you want that game to end up. So if I want this game to end up in games and in the Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 folder, I would click that folder, and then I would press OK at the bottom right corner. I'm not going to press it because that would create a whole nother game, because I already unzipped it. You can see all the content right here. So cancel. So RAR is really important. You can download it at the Play Store. So you're just going to search up RAR and then download RAR. So RAR basically unzips all your downloaded games off the internet. In terms of newer systems, you download the emulator, just like that I did with Azahar, and you load up your games files that you already organized before, and then you select your game and you're playing just like that. Controller configuration can be a little tricky. I showed you in the Gamecube Dolphin emulator. Here it's kind of similar. You go to controller settings, and you go to controller port 1. This is for PlayStation 2. And then you just map it all out. But they have an automatic mapping. So if you click on this and then click Retroid Pocket Controller, automatic mapping complete. This will map it automatically. So this is really nice. And then hotkeys are important too. You can map something for quick load and quick save. This is really nice. So I did quick load is like select and then hold R1 or R2, sorry. And then quick load is hold select and then hold L2. You basically just click on this and then hold select and hold R1. And that's how you map it. And then in a game, I'll show you with Blood Omen. It's really nice because you can skip all the loading screens. So for example, I hit it right here, select L1, boom, select L2, and now I'm in the game, right? Wherever you left off, you can be mid boss battle and create a save state. So if I create so that save state I was on the ladder, but this save state I'll be over here. For example, I'll jump up here. Okay, so now I'll create a save state right here. Boom. Now if I walk over here, and then I load, this is quick load, which is select L2, boom, I'm back here. So no matter what I do now, all I have to do is press select L2, since I mapped it to that, and it'll load me into here every time. So this is a really nice feature. Again, how you do that is you go, so if you're in game and you want to do something like that, by the way, there's a way to do that. So in game, you press the home button, and this will pop up on Aether XS2, which is the PS2 emulator. Then you select the little cross at the top right corner, not the X, but the one next to it. Looks like a D-pad. Click that, and then click controller port 1, and then you can map your controls like that. You can also do the automatic mapping once again. And if you scroll all the way to the right, hotkeys, and then quick load and quick save, you just click it, map it to something like that, press the buttons, and then it will be mapped. And then you swipe up, or sorry, you don't swipe up, you press home again, and it goes back to the game. So this is a great way to, and you can do that for Gamecube as well, and other emulators who have that feature. Quick save and quick load, save states, it really helps make the gameplay faster, because you can skip the loading screens. Okay, well I hope this was helpful for all of the boomers out there.
So you might be unfamiliar with GitHubs or how to navigate GitHub. So we'll do a little guide on how to download stuff. So for example, if you want a turnip driver, you would click on this, turnip driver download. It'll bring you to GitHub and you'll see a page like this. And you might be thinking, well, where's the download link, right? I don't see it. Well, you're at the right place. You're at the releases page. You don't really just see a lot of info, but you're looking for this one called assets. Then you're gonna press the drop down menu and you're gonna see turnip v25.2.0-r9-auto.zip. You're gonna click that first one. There's the blue letters, click on the blue letters. Just tap them. when you're in Firefox or Reddit or wherever you are. Download. So that'll go to your downloads. Again, we navigate to our downloads, and there it is, Turnip v25.2.0.r9. So that's how you navigate GitHub. We'll try a different GitHub so you can see, yeah, Skyline Enhance Infinity. This is another secret console emulator. Oftentimes you'll just be looking for this assets thing, drop it down, assets, and then APK. .apk tends to be the file you're going to want to download. So if I want to download this first one, click on the letters, click download. Once you have Firefox downloaded into your default browser, these drop-down menus where it has a purple download button, like this, will pop up whenever you click those blue letters. It's easiest to download things on the device rather than on the internet and then having to transfer it over via SD card or via the wire, USB-C wire. Settings, and then to apps, and then default apps, and click on that. And for your browser, just make sure it's Firefox. And there you go. That's how you navigate GitHub. Other download links that are not on GitHub are also easy. You just press download. And some of them, like this one, will show you some options where there's Windows, Linux, which is a penguin, and then Android, which is that little green robot. You're always going to select the Android or the green robot because this is an Android device. So, just gonna, I don't know, yeah, see, you just click download. Just press download and then press download. Boom, boom. Easy. Once you download it, it'll always show up right here, Citron, see? I don't need either of these, I already downloaded them, so I'm gonna delete them. But the apps, once you open them, will show up here, Citron. And Yuzu.
Last but not least, I'm going to show you how to download Winlator. Search Winlator on Google, click the first one, Android app. On the official Winlator website, click the download link. It'll lead you to a GitHub releases page for Winlator 10 hotfix. That's the most recent one. It's the best one. Basically scroll down to assets, click on winlator.apk and download that. It'll go to your downloads folder. For those who don't know, this allows you to emulate Windows so you can play PC games on your handheld. Best way to play PS3 and Xbox 360 as well. As long as there's a PC port of the game, try to find it and use it on Winlator. So here I'm going to my downloads on my internal storage, and I'm selecting the winlator.apk. Click on it. It'll say install, you press yes, and then it'll create a desktop shortcut. Click on your desktop shortcut, and you'll see this container. This is like one instance of Windows, so you can edit the container by pressing the three dots. Make sure you have your resolution set to where you want it for each game. I recommend creating one container per game. This container right here is for Castlevania Lords of the Shadow 2. If you want to copy my settings, feel free. This, resolution is maxed out. Usually a more balanced resolution is recommended. But this game can handle max resolution for some reason. Always use the turnip driver as I just selected there. Adreno. Turnip Adreno is better for the Snapdragon in this device. And for the other settings, you're pretty much going to leave it default except for the very end where it says advanced. Once you go to advanced, you're going to change the box 64 preset to performance. Some games will like stability though. Set the startup selection to aggressive. And then keep the Windows version at 7. Some games work better for Windows 10. And yeah, some games you'll want to check off more of the CPUs, but for this one I did not, and it works fine. Then you press play on the container, and then it opens up Windows. Now you're in Windows, and you're emulating Windows. Then you double click on D. That's your downloads folder of your internal storage. It's the same stuff you'll see at your internal storage. And you gotta find your setup.exe for the game that you downloaded. your legal copy from GOG or otherwise, or Steam. Then you go through your normal installation, but you're doing it through the Windows emulator. It'll install the whole game. It'll take a while, and then it will create a desktop shortcut within Winlator. You'll see it right there in the top left corner. Double click it, and then you'll play your game. It's that simple. The rest of this video will just be a gameplay demo showing the loading screens and some of how high quality the gameplay is. Again, this is an Xbox 360 PS3 level game playing a PC port on Winlator. This is the best way to play higher level games on this system. If you can get the Xbox 360 emulator Xenia working, you can also run that through Winlator, but then you're double emulating. You're running an emulator within an emulator. So this is ultimately better just to run the PC port. So as you can see, graphics are perfect. It's already mapped, the controllers are already mapped to the handheld. Didn't have to do anything. Just comes like that default. And if you take your finger and put it to the left part of the screen and swipe right like you would in most emulators to pull up the menu, that's how you exit. And that's also how you map the controls. If you need to, you would click input controls. So it's that simple. Thanks for watching. Bye.